Good evening and welcome to this week's programme. And in the news this week, Weldmar Hospice is launching a new service, Weldmar at Home. A new service described as the local charity's biggest ever development in patient care, and has launched a major fundraising appeal to help finance it. Working in partnership with Weldmar community nurses, the Weldmar at Home team will ensure that care is available in the home when it is needed to provide hands-on nursing care and support to patients regardless of their diagnosis and who wish to be in their own home for the final days of their life. To meet these wishes, individualised care packages are often required, and sadly there is frequently a shortage of carers available to provide a reliable and consistent service at short notice. Demand is rising too, and last year alone 46% of Weldmar patients wanted this sort of care, and that was an increase of 11%. Caroline Sweetland, who's the Director of Nursing at Weldmar Hospice Care, commenting said, "When patients are living with a terminal diagnosis, they need the reassurance that no matter where or how they want to receive care and support, it will be available. Patients often require rapid specialist assessments and appropriate care package being implemented within hours. For some patients, this has been taking days or even weeks, which simply is just not acceptable." The COVID-19 pandemic has made this even worse. Many of our patients don't have the time to wait for a full package of care to be put in place. However, they say they continue to work with a number of other healthcare agencies in Dorset to fulfil their patients' wishes, but we want to be able to ensure that every patient who wants to die at home receives the level of care that they deserve, provided by a charity that they already trust, respect and feel comfortable with. So Weldmar have launched a major fundraising appeal, and obviously they would like your support. And this appeal is there to fund this new service and a team of healthcare assistants. And donations can be made securely and easily online at www.weld-hospice.org.uk. Officers from Dorset Police stopped a vehicle in WykeRegis on Thursday on Portland Road. It transpired that the driver didn't have a valid licence or insurance. The vehicle was seized and the driver has been reported for a number of driving offences. Following a search, a quantity of drugs were also located. Dorset Police are keen to hear from members of the community if they believe any vehicle is being driven without the correct documentation, such as insurance, MOT or tax. And you can report this to Dorset Police for them to follow up anonymously. Now there's a rather long website address, but I have found out if you go to the Google search engine and you type in Dorset Police vehicle no tax, you come up with the website where you can make this report for Dorset Police to follow up on. Dorset Council Scrutiny Committee will meet on the 25th of March, that's this week, to discuss recommendations to reduce the number of council-owned offices in Dorchester by using buildings more efficiently, offering annual savings of over £500,000. The proposals are the culmination of extensive work that began shortly after Dorset Council was formed, where they reviewed the council's estate to identify opportunities to save money, generate income and to enable their employees to work in a more flexible way, and reducing the council's environmental impact, and in making sure that good facilities and access for their customers. The COVID pandemic, like it has with lots of things, has accelerated these changes and changes in working arrangements, with employees making greater use of technology and able to work remotely, such as from home. Following a recent review of the council's office estate in Dorset, a report proposes consolidating all office space requirements for council employees into County Hall at Collerton Park. It recommends offering any surplus space within County Hall to third sector and other public sector partners. This would free up other council-owned and occupied offices in Dorset to be sold or leased. Currently, Dorset Council owns and occupies 12 buildings in Dorchester. Councillor Tony Ferrari portfolio holder for economic growth assets and property, said these proposals offer a much more efficient use of council-owned and leased buildings in Dorchester and will save money. It's something we wanted to do since the local government reorganisation took place. Dorset Council inherited a large portfolio of property and assets from predecessor councils that we knew could be managed more efficiently. More than half the residents who took part in a recent survey have given their backing to proposals to change the road layout around Weymouth Harbour in a bid to enhance the area for families, hospitality business and active travel. The proposed new layout would see removal of parking spaces along Custom House Quay on the north side of the harbour, but interestingly plans for a new cycle lane only received 40% support and are now being reconsidered. The survey was undertaken to gauge local opinion on the plans to provide a better mixed-use environment and creation of a safer space for walking and cycling, enhanced areas for outside dining and improved air quality by reducing traffic along the route, while keeping access to a working harbour. More than 1,400 people responded to the survey over the 6-week period, with 58.2% supportive of the whole scheme. The responses show a majority of support for installing planters, seating and bollards, providing loading bays for businesses and harbour vessels, widening the footways, providing additional outdoor seating space for hospitality businesses and providing cycle parking in the area. Moving back to Dorset Police, this time on cyber crime. Dorset Police cybercrime Facebook page has posted the following warning. Keep your eyes peeled for this scam text, and I'll stick it up on the screen. There we go. Doing the rounds. This is one of them, fairly well known by now, but it can be convincing, so it's well worth a reminder. This particular link takes you to a convincing lookalike of the Royal Mail website, with a web form asking for a lot of personal information. This is the one that Dorset Police have actually put on their Facebook page, but interestingly enough, here is one that I received on my mobile phone just last weekend, Sunday evening, rather late as you see the time, at 1 minute to midnight, telling me that Royal Mail were unable to retrieve a payment for a shipping fee and asking me to click on a link. So the thing is to be very, very careful. You can report these scams to telecoms providers. If it comes on a mobile phone, you can text 7726, which actually spells out the word spam if you work it out on your keypad. You can also report scam emails by forwarding them to report@phishing, that's PH phishing starting with a PH, .gov.uk. So that's report@phishing with a PH .gov.uk, or forward the text to 7726 from your mobile phone. Dorchester Hospital, or Dorset County Hospital at Dorchester, as Diagnostic Imaging Department has been received national recognition for the quality of its services. The department has been granted the Quality Standards for Imaging QSI accreditation. The UCAS accreditation is recognition of the department's dedication to provide a safe and efficient service for patients. To achieve accreditation, the department must submit written evidence against more than 130 separate criteria, which are grouped under standards of leadership, clinical, facilities, safety and patient experience. The Diagnostic Imaging Department at DCH was also visited by the accreditation team over 2 days to observe practice and interview staff. The Interim Radiology Services Manager, Linda Chappell, said staff in all areas of the department have been working towards this accreditation for 3 years. Only 36 other departments in the UK hold this accreditation. It has involved a huge amount of work by all our consultants, radiographers and assistants, nurses and admin staff, so we're all very proud of our achievement. And anybody that uses Dorset County Hospital, I'm sure will be very pleased to hear this, and how lucky we are to have such a good hospital so close to us here in WykeRegis. Carrying on the health theme, lots of local people have had their first vaccination and are able to meet up with other people. Nationally, around 50% of adults have now had at least their first vaccination. So all being well, we moved towards the next step of the government's pathway on the 29th of March, so 9 days' time, which will allow us to meet up to 6 individuals from different households in outdoor public spaces or private gardens. It means one person will be able to meet with up to 5 other people, even if they are not from the same household, provided they do not exceed a group of 6. The only time you are permitted to exceed a group of 6 people is when individuals from no more than 2 households mix outdoors. So, for example, if you are from a household of 4 people, you will be able to mix outdoors with another household consisting of 3 people, even if your group is then made up of 7. So it's either 6 individual people from 6 individual households, or up to 2 groups of people from 2 households maximum. Although the rule of 6 is being reintroduced, it is understood that people should continue practicing social distancing where appropriate and maintain good hygiene to minimise the risk of transmission. Restrictions on mixing with other households indoors still apply unless you are in a support bubble or a childcare bubble. So it means you should continue not mixing with anyone from other households in any indoor settings, including public places such as supermarkets and shopping centres. Weymouth Town Council have teamed up with Westfield Arts College to create a temporary trail for local people in Radipole Gardens. Residents who visit the gardens over the next few weeks will notice some colourful additions, and you can see there one on the screen, to this very peaceful community space. Hand-painted hearts have been positioned around the gardens in time for the Easter holidays. Visitors are invited to spot them as they enjoy strolling through the park. There are around 35 hearts in total, which have all been beautifully decorated by pupils at the college. Resources for the Arts Trail have been supplied as part of the Radipole Park and Gardens project. The council are working with the Friends of Radipole Park and Gardens volunteer group on the project, which has been awarded funding from the Heritage and Community Lottery Fund. And finally, and obviously today's biggest story, if you heard those big bangs at just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. There was some mystery large bangs heard in WykeRegis this afternoon, and reports have come in that it was heard as far afield as Bournemouth, Taunton and far into Devon. As yet, it's an unknown source, although there are various reports saying it. Plane could have gone supersonic, 2 RAF planes have gone supersonic, bomb disposal people detonating a bomb on Charmouth Beach, and even a meteor strike. Just before we went live this afternoon, I checked all the feeds, and as yet, nothing has come to light as to what it actually was. But it certainly was significant, and it was heard over a wide range. Both the government and the RAF have actually said it was not RAF planes. I think, although there was a detonated explosion on Charmouth Beach this afternoon, that it certainly wouldn't have accounted for an explosion and noise that travelled as far as the reports have come in. The British Seismic Survey, I looked on their website and looked at their seismic surveys, and there was no movement on the ground at around 3 o'clock. So it's definitely something in the air, as far as I'm concerned. So we will keep you updated. I'm sure we are all watching out with interest to learn what those bangs were at 3 o'clock today. So moving on to our first story this evening. I thought, first of all this evening, we would catch up on how our intrepid virtual walkers have been doing on their virtual walk from John O'Groats to Land's End, where they've been clocking up their actual miles walked as they go out and about walking around Wyke and Weymouth on a virtual route from initially Land's End to John O'Groats, and then from John O'Groats back to Land's End, passing some interesting places on the way. Last week we left them in Wales. Let's see what they've been up to this week.
Hello everyone, welcome to week 10 of our lockdown walk report. Do you remember last week we were in Wales? Well, while there we decided to have a little look around, and we went to Carnarvon Castle, where the investiture of the Prince of Wales took place in 1969. Yes, some of us can remember that time. Then on to Llanberis for a walk to the summit of Mount Snowdon. Most of us took the walking path, but Ali decided on the climbers' route. Ali's next adventure was flying down the zip wire at Penryn's Slate Quarry, the world's fastest zip line. Oddly, he was the only one to try it. Then on to Bangor and across the Menai Strait, followed by a walking tour round the Isle of Anglesey, following the Welsh coast footpath, and then back to Bangor, over the suspension bridge into Conway and on to Llandudno, where Ali climbed the Great Orme and descended via the toboggan run. The rest of us had a nice relaxing afternoon. We turned inland and walked to the historic town of Wrexham. Leaving Wales, we went to Shrewsbury and then on to Ironbridge and walked over the structure after which the town is named. This area is known as the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. We wandered round the museums and places of interest in the area before making for Birmingham. Here we visited Edgbaston with its famous cricket ground and pretty botanical gardens. Leaving the city, we walked to Coventry and spent some time in the ruins of the old cathedral, bombed in the Second World War, and then went into its modern replacement with its stunning stained glass windows and beautiful artwork. We passed through Warwick and its castle and arrived at Stratford-on-Avon in time for a theatre visit and a picnic by the river. From Stratford we started heading to Salisbury. But let's see where we actually ended up now we watch Jeff Rivers' report. We're at the ancient village of Collingbourne Duchess, which was mentioned in the Domesday Book. Not far till Salisbury, and then where? Perhaps it's time we started making for home. See you next week. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Janet and Jeff. And I don't know about you, I've not been out there walking that much, and I know some people have been actually walking some significant distances on this virtual walk. But the thing I've enjoyed about these reports is learning about places I've never heard of before, and including the one that they finished on tonight, Collingbourne Deuces. Never heard of it before, but we've seen some wonderful pictures of places I've not visited and some wonderful names. I've actually learnt a lot from this virtual walk over the week, so thank you to Janet and Jeff for putting it together, and for all those that are actually out there doing the walks. So, to our next slot this evening. On the beginning of May, we have elections for Weymouth Town Council and a councillor for WykeRegis, and also, I believe, for the Police and Crime Commissioner for Dorset. Local councillors play an important role in our community in representing the community's views in council. And ensuring that what our local council does is in the best interests of our community. We are given the opportunity at WykeRegis TV of an interview to all candidates, and the first one to step forward this week, who I interviewed this morning, was Claudia Webb from the Green Party. So good morning everyone, I'm here in WykeRegis, and I'm joined this morning by one of the candidates in the local elections for WykeRegis, and that's Claudia Webb from the Green Party. And we're hoping to meet with all of the candidates in the run-up to the local election to give them all the opportunity to talk to the people of Wyke. So Claudia, good morning and thank you for coming along. Can I ask you first of all, why are you standing for the local elections?
Well, I've always been very much involved in the community in different ways. I've been a friend of the Rodwell Trail on their committee for the past 10 years, I think. I set up Plastic Free Weymouth as an initiative and campaign. I've worked with Envy Freedom, Weymouth Civic Society, things like that. So I've always been involved locally, and I was previously a councillor before I had to give it up for my Weymouth bid job. So now I've changed jobs, and I'd really like to get back into local politics again, especially now we've got Weymouth Town Council and a fresh start.
So what do you think the key priorities are for the ward in WykeRegis?
I think, helping everyone get back to normal after the pandemic, helping people access the help that they need, and if I can't figure out how to do something, then I'll find someone who will. And also helping to support those who don't really interact online a lot, for example the elderly, trying to get their point across and communicating what they need.
What do you think that our town council does well?
I think with the new Weymouth Town Council, I think they've become a lot more accessible, especially online. You can watch all the meetings, you can interact with them in real time. I think that's really great for getting people involved and so that they know exactly what's going on all the time. And I think they've made an effort to try and include a more diverse range of councillors by making it easier for those who work to be a councillor. So you get different ages, different job skills, that kind of thing in the mix.
I guess taking the other aspect, what do you think the town council doesn't do so well at the moment?
I think it's difficult to avoid sometimes, but I think party politics is an issue, can be an issue, and I'm very much against party politics. Sometimes I don't even think it should be a part of local councils. You don't want to vote just because the rest of your party is voting that way, and people need to vote according to what their ward constituents would like, not what they or their party would like.
If you're elected as one of our local councillors in May, what areas of policy would you like to influence on the town council?
I'd really like to help support the local businesses in Wyke. Obviously I've been working at Weymouth Bid for 3 years and have learnt a lot of skills from that, and I'd really like to make Wyke more thriving economically. I'd really like to help Weymouth Town Council influence Dorset Council policy as well, because they make a lot of the big decisions and Weymouth Town Council really need to input into that. The town centre management aspect, obviously I've learnt a lot about that recently, so I'd really like to help us all, the wider Weymouth become more viable.
And I guess perhaps the most important question for viewers tonight is why should the people of Wyke vote for you? What are you offering to the people of WykeRegis as their local councillor?
Obviously, the Green Party locally is doing really well at the moment. People can see that their councillors are fair and have integrity. I'm proven to be a hard worker and trustworthy for that matter, and I never let ego or party politics get in the way of decisions. I try to listen to people and do what they want me to do, not what I want to do. I'm guaranteed to work hard for any of the constituents of WykeRegis.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you very much for answering our questions this morning. And of course, we want to hear from all of the other candidates standing for the ward of WykeRegis, and we hope to speak to them in the weeks ahead before the elections in May, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to Claudia again before the elections, because our idea here at WykeRegis TV is to ensure that you, the people of WykeRegis and the surrounding area, know who your local councillors are, know what they stand for, and therefore can make an informed decision when it comes to voting in the May elections. There we go. So thank you to Claudia for joining with me this morning, and hope over the next few weeks to speak to all of the other candidates if they wish to speak to me, and I will report back on those in the weeks ahead. We're also looking at the possibility of doing a specific hustings type broadcast just before the election, where you can put any questions you want answered to the candidates. So if you've got any questions that you'd like us to put to the candidates standing for Town Council in WykeRegis in May, do send them in. Our email address is on screen. It's news@wykeregis.tv. We'd like to hear your questions. Moving on then, like so many other businesses, clubs and venues, the church in WykeRegis has been shut and has had to modify the way it makes services available to the public by moving online and live streaming. But that's about to change as we move down the government's route map and things start to open up. And after a risk assessment, things are now starting to open up again. As we approach Easter, which is a very important time for the church, Brother Alistair, who is the rector of WykeRegis, now is going to share with us how the church plans to approach Easter and the opening up of church services.
Hello everybody, and it's Brother Alistair here from here at Wyke Parish Church, the Churches of All Saints and St Edmunds, and we are looking forward to the greatest festival of the Christian year, which is the Feast of Easter. A special time for us after so many months of having the church closed. We are able to open the church in a limited way, with all the normal COVID restrictions that come, like face masks and social distancing and all the rest of it. But we are coming back into the church building, and we want to welcome you. So on Palm Sunday, we're just opening the one church building at 9:30 a.m. for a Eucharist service. I'm afraid we won't be able to sing, but we will have music being played, and you will be able to receive the Eucharist on Palm Sunday. On Monday of what we call Holy Week, online, and you'll be able to see it on here, is Janet Hall, our reader, has put together a beautiful series of Stations of the Cross, read by members of the congregation with paintings, and that will be at 5 o'clock on our Facebook page. Through Lent, we've been studying Mark's Gospel, and on Tuesday and Wednesday of that week, we will be making sure we will be finishing off those studies as we finish our Lenten journey together, ready for the day of Maundy Thursday. Maundy Thursday at 7 p.m, we will be having that very solemn service and also a very beautiful service of the celebration of our Lord's initiation of the Lord's Supper or Holy Communion or Eucharist or Mass, whatever expression you use for that. And that celebration will be here in All Saints service at 7 p.m. on Maundy Thursday. Good Friday, we go back online because we have to have 48 hours between services in the building. And at 2 p.m, from 2 to 3 p.m, Janet Hall, our reader, will be leading us in readings and prayers as a focus upon Jesus' death for us upon the cross. And so you can join that from where you are on Facebook, and I think it will also be rebroadcast on Twitter. Easter Sunday morning at 9:30 here at All Saints Church, we will have our Easter Sunday morning. followed by, for the first time in many months, at 11 a.m. at St Edmund's Church, we will also have our Easter Sunday Eucharist. Just for your reference, if you can't or you don't feel ready to come into a church building quite yet, the service of Palm Sunday, Maundy Thursday, and Easter Sunday morning will be live streamed, and so you will be able to watch it online if you, at this point, are still not feeling safe enough or secure enough to come into a church building. Please be assured we will take every single step we can to ensure that our services are safe, that people are socially distanced, and if you are coming to the service, you will be required to wear a proper face mask, face covering, and please be aware the only person who will take their mask off will be the person actually conducting the service, and they will be at a socially distance from you. I want to wish you a happy Easter on what has been a tragic year. On Tuesday next week, this coming week, we will be remembering the 125,000 who have died, and the Eucharist will happen on Wednesday morning, where we will directly mention and pray for and light candles for those who have lost their lives in this community. We are conscious this has been a tough time. You've been shut in. And so as I finish, I want to say a prayer for you and for our community. Loving Lord, we remember that God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, Jesus Christ, that we might know what it is to know your love and forgiveness, your healing and your reconciliation. We thank you that God has known the pain of death. God has known the separation and the anxiety that has been caused by being shut in and locked in. And we have not been alone, but you have been with us. We thank you for those closing words of the gospel, that you are with us to the very end of the age. And for those who have been shut in, some for nearly a whole year, we pray for them. We pray for those who mourn, for those who are lonely, for those who feel isolated, for those who are in pain and waiting for operations, for those who miss children and grandchildren, or miss mums and miss grandparents. We pray for you and ask that God may comfort your soul in this time. We ask this through the name of Jesus, who lived and died and rose for us, one God forevermore. Amen. A really blessed Easter to you, and may you know God's love. And do, if you feel able, come and join us either in person or online as we walk through Holy Week this coming week.
Thank you, Brother Alistair. And I know for many people, we have had lots of people joining the church services by live stream, far more than would normally attend church. So I know it has been something that people have done during lockdown. And on a joyous note, for those that are planning to get married, it's good news that they will hopefully be able to have their weddings this summer. So that's the people that were due to get married last year and those planning to get married this year, because that will touch on so many families in WykeRegis, and hopefully will be a joyous time for them all. Now, normally we would have a fourth story at this time, but I'm saving that right to the end, and I'm going to press on with the other bits and then cover that right at the end. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on, and we're going to look at the national weather forecast for the rest of the weekend.
Hello there. After a largely cloudy start today, we will start to see more in the way of sunshine this afternoon. Across northern Scotland, later we'll start to see a band of rain push in from the north, gradually sinking its way south tonight. It will turn drier, but we are left with a fair amount of cloud, so that should keep temperatures above freezing for most of us, but we could see a patchy frost in rural Scotland. Come Sunday morning, skies will be largely grey and cloudy across the bulk of the UK, but we will see some sunshine start to break through that cloud as we head into Sunday afternoon. Skies will stay cloudy in some areas though, particularly across parts of Wales and central England. It does look to stay cloudy here through much of the day, but when we get any brightness, we could see temperatures reach 13 or 14. High pressure stays in charge into the next few days, so it will stay largely dry, but turning a bit more unsettled in the north.
So there we go. That's the national weather forecast from the Met Office. And what does the local weather hold for us this week? Well, it's going to be cloudy with sunny spells, mainly dry until the latter part of the week. Definitely Thursday and Friday onwards, possibly on Wednesday. So a changeable week, but it's going to be mild with peak temperatures 11 or 12 degrees and the lowest temperatures at 5 or 6. So quite a pleasant but changeable week, I think. Certainly for the start of the week, maybe getting a little bit wet towards the end of the week. Looking at our traffic and travel, roadworks are currently underway by Wessex Water in Parkmead Road, and although it says on the Dorset Council website that delays shouldn't be expected, they are working in the middle of the road and they are causing delays and affecting traffic. I know from my own travel through that road over the last couple of days, and I've had to wait as the digger's working in the middle of the road, which is quite understandable. It's a busy road and it's a difficult road to park in, and they're trying to do work. Delays are expected up to the 22nd of March at the top of Portland Road as Scottish and Southern once again dig up the pavement and road close to All Saints Church. There's been a problem there since the day that we had the power cut in WykeRegis, and they seem to have been back and dug up the same place 2 or 3 times, certainly that I'm aware of. Wessex Water are also still working in Mandeville Road and BT in St Martin's Road in Southlands. Southern Gas Networks are intermittently working around the Abbotsbury Road areas, and it's possible that there may be disruption there as well. On the trains, there are no reported engineering works affecting services from Weymouth this weekend or for the week ahead, and that's the second week on the trot that we've actually had that. I think just about every single week over the last year there's been engineering works, either weekends and weekdays, but not this coming week. Looking at what's on, the Knowth Fort is reopening the outdoor areas of the Knowth Fort for the period of 12th to the 18th of April over Easter, including the cafe and the museum shop. They're having an Easter egg hunt for all the family, and including the unique golden egg, and I think they're also doing counting the Easter bunnies or something as well. So there's activities outdoors for families at the Knowth Fort over Easter. It is planned, they hope, to open the indoor areas from the 17th of May. Also, the outdoor areas of Weymouth Sea Life Centre are open again from the 12th of April. This will include access to the Pirate Golf, the chance to meet the Humboldt penguins, seals and otters, and the interactive rock pool. So good that the Weymouth Sea Life Centre is reopening as well. Friends of Castle Cove Beach, we mentioned this last week, but I'll mention it again, are planning a summer garden stroll on the 26th and 27th of June. We're hoping to speak to the organisers in the next week or so and get them on the programme. And they're looking for people located between Buxton Road and Rylands Lane who can take part by opening their gardens. If you're interested, let us know and we'll put you in touch with the organisers. Weymouth Pavilion have also announced that, in line with the government guidance, they will start hosting live performances from Friday the 21st of May. So watch this space. We'll tell you what's happening at Weymouth Pavilion or pop along to their website. And finally, on the What's On, I mentioned last week that Weymouth South Scouts are currently fundraising using bags to school. So if you have any clothes, etc., there is a collection being made on the 26th of March, so 6 days' time. Items can be dropped off at 154 Portland Road. 154 Portland Road. If you forget that information and you want it later in the week, please do get in touch. We'll be happy to pass that on. Now we get to the section of the programme where we look at one of the latest releases of films. And this week we're going to look at the film Raya and the Last Dragon. This has been recently released, but certainly is one of those films that would be ideal for the family to watch over the Easter break. Raya and the Last Dragon is a 2021 American computer-animated fantasy action film produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Walt Disney Animation Studios. It's their 59th film produced in their studios. It's directed by Don Hall and Carlos Lopez Estrada. The music in the movie was composed by James Newton Howard. The film features a predominantly Asian American cast, including the voices of Kelly Marie Tran as Rhea and Aquafina. I'm sorry, I can't say that very well. Sisu, the dragon. Raya and the Last Dragon was theatrically released in the United States on the 5th of March. That means into their cinemas. And the film's release was also simultaneously available on Disney Plus with Premier Access. And that's obviously a response to the COVID-19 pandemic's negative impact on the movie theatres across the United States and other countries, including, of course, the United Kingdom, where all cinemas have been completely closed for some time. And actually, to say the future of some cinemas and whether they will open again is quite uncertain. However, long ago in the fantasy world of Kamandra, humans and dragons lived together in harmony. However, when sinister monsters known as the Droon threatened the land, the dragons sacrificed themselves to save humanity. Now, 500 years later, those same monsters have returned, and it's up to a lone warrior to track down the last dragon and stop the Droon for good. Raya and the Last Dragon.
Alright guys, remember what we're looking for. And don't trust anyone.
Whoa, what?
Hey, baby. Where are your parents? Hey, who's baby? What? Really? A con baby? Impressive. We could use someone like you. Let's catch you up. My name is Raya. Our lands have been at war for as long as we can remember. Our people never see eye to eye.
My daughter, I believe our people can come together again. But someone has to take the first step.
Now, in order to restore peace, we must find the last dragon.
I wish to join this fellowship of butt kickery.
Let's go. We'll have to watch our backs. We're not the only ones looking. 6 years of searching. Please let this be it. Oh, mighty Sisu!
Who said that?
We really need your help.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not like the best dragon. Have you ever done like a group project, but there's like that one kid who didn't pitch in as much, but still ended up with the same grade?
We're doomed.
You and the dragon are coming with me.
My sword here says we're not. The world's broken. You can't trust anyone.
Maybe it's broken because you don't trust anyone. You just have to take the first step. I just shape changed.
Dragons can do that?
Look how close my butt is to my head. It's gonna make digestion so much faster.
In theaters or ordered on Disney Plus with Premier Access, March 5th.
There we go, Raya and the Last Dragon. One to watch over the Easter break if you're taking it easy and having a relaxing time with the family. Now don't forget, we've got one more piece left, so don't leave us yet. Just a reminder that the regular services at All Saints Church are 9:30 on Sunday tomorrow, and that will be live streamed, and Monday at 5 p.m. live streamed only. Our quiz is on at 7:30 tonight and is live, and you're all welcome to join us on these channels. And on Friday, don't forget our new gardening programme, broadcasting a year in gardening with Clive Gray. It started last week, and quite a few people watched it, so that's good. We will continue that series on Friday at 7 p.m. Of course, if you like to hear local news from local people, please support our other community media services throughout the week. And just so you know who they are, there's Keep 106 Radio in Dorchester at www.keep106.com. They can also be found on FM radio at 106.3 and on your smart devices. You've got Air 107.2 that runs from Westfield Arts College in Weymouth. That's their website is www.air1072.com. They can be found at 107.2 on FM and on smart devices. And you've got Chesil Radio, which is an internet-only service at www.chesilradio.com. They're also available on smart devices as well. They are all community projects locally, all run by volunteers, all providing a service to you and your community. So it's almost time to finish, but I expect you thought I'd missed out the other input that I said we would have, and that is from our intrepid walkers again. But I thought it was ideal to finish with it, because what it is, it's some of the great pictures across our own local area. Whilst these people have been doing their virtual walk, they have been out walking within our community, and they've been taking photos of the places that they've been walking whilst they've been doing their virtual Land's End to John O'Groats journey. So I'm going to leave you with this final report tonight about our walkers and what they've actually been doing. And I look forward to being with you again next week on Saturday at 6 p.m. But don't forget, any stories, any events you want us to mention, or anything else, news at WykeRegis TV.
Hello again. For the last 10 weeks, we have been showing you our virtual walk from Land's End to John O'Groats and a rather long route back home again. I thought it was time now to show you the sort of walks we were really doing to build up the miles that it took to do the virtual walk. Most of them have been right outside our front doors, and some people have walked about 35 miles in a week in order to do this. Here are some of the pictures that have been posted on WhatsApp during the walk time.